This is my V12 project that I've been building over the last couple of years. So I'm building my own V12 supercar from scratch. This is the Mercedes M120. It's becoming a super popular engine. Loads of people are using these in their builds. Everyone wants that Zonda sound. That's what I'm aiming for here. I'm essentially building my own Pagani Zonda of my own design. So today I want to do some more work on the engine bay and get this thing a little bit closer to starting up. The challenge today is I want to get this module mounted somewhere in the engine bay. So the M120 V12 actually uses quite a lot of modules to run this engine, but I'm going to maintain all of the original systems on my project. So I want this to run exactly the same as it did in the donor car. So I tested the donor vehicle, made sure I got this thing running properly. The most unreliable part of this engine was the wiring harness, but I've already gone ahead and rewired that and repaired that. And now I've transplanted it into my own chassis to build the car of my own design. So I want to make sure I use all the original systems. I want this thing reliable. I want to do loads of miles on it, do loads of road trips. So I'm going to use all this original stuff that Mercedes put millions of pounds into developing. So it looks like the best position for this is going to be down here. I'm hoping I can put it in this kind of section on both sides of the car. Then it keeps it really neat. I'm going to have a cover over all this stuff. This part of the car was previously used to hold the windscreen motor wiper module for the front windscreen wiper. So I'm going to put this up front somewhere. I'm going to repurpose this to hold my ignition module. So that was attached onto this plate, and this plate then attaches onto here. It's got this quick release system that allows it to just join on. So this part actually installs by taking off the top cover on the relay box, and then this just drops in like this. These little tabs engage, and then that's installed. So if I can attach my module onto here, then I've got a really good way of fixing it on this side of the car. To do that, I need to cut off this handle part and make it flat so that the module can sit on top of there easily. So the bottom of this module is covered in white paste, so that's thermal paste, so that conducts heat. So that tells me this gets hot when it's in use. So to prevent it getting hot, it needs to be sat on some metal. So I've got these couple of plates here as my options. So I've got this thinner one and also this thicker one, which is probably the one I'm going to use. So I need to flatten that, bolt this on here somehow, and then I'm going to bolt this on top of that. So that will just help it spread the heat so this thing doesn't get too hot. Now I can get cutting this and make room for the module to bolt on. So that's the bulk of this plate now flat. Next I need to change over to a grinding disc and get this all nice and smooth. Then I can mount the metal plate on top of this. If you're enjoying this, give me a quick thumbs up. It takes a lot of work making these videos. I've also got members content where you can see behind the scenes on the V12 build, as well as some of the projects. Thank you for the members for supporting me and helping me continue to do this. So this is what I've got so far. I've flattened all that off, and I've also drilled the holes ready for the module to be mounted. I've decided that I'm going to use multiple plates just to make sure this thing stays cool. So this bolts on like that, and then I've also got the other piece of metal which goes in there. So that means there's loads of area to spread all this heat out. So then I've got the module which goes on like this, and for now I'm using these temporary bolts just to go up through there like that. So you can start to see exactly how this is coming together. So the third bolt goes in there like that. So I'm going to use these and chop these bolts down. These are of course temporary. I will get some nicer ones later on in the project. For now I just need to get this thing together. So that now attaches that on nice and securely. You can see I've got plenty of area there for heat to dissipate. I will have to put some thermal paste in between these on the final assembly. So let's see how this looks on the car. So this piece is roughly going to fit about here. So you can see here, that's fitting really well. From this kind of perspective, you can see how it's really going to fill up the engine bay nicely. And this is very close to the original position that it was in on the Mercedes. It was on either side of the engine. That means the original wiring from the Mercedes should be able to reach up here and extend into these. So this module is going to get some airflow from a vent that's going to be here on the side of the car. I'm going to have a big vent with a radiator, so any extra air is just going to be channeled across the top of here. It was originally just mounted on the chassis of the car. It didn't have a big heat sink or anything like that, so it will get warm, but I think it'll be okay, just like it would have been in the original car. Originally, it was underneath the whole bonnet of the car, so that would have been a lot hotter, versus the engine bay I'm going to design here is going to have a lot of airflow passages. I'm also going to try and make it so the engine breathes as well. I'm going to do like glass, which is like stacked with gaps in between so that air can escape out the engine bay. So that's the first one fitted. I also want to get this one done over here. So this is the ECU cage, and there's loads of ECUs that fit in there, so they control the various banks of the engine as well as the power functions on the car. The lid of that is going to be used to mount the other one, so I think I'm going to tackle that now to see if I can get both of these done and out of the way. So here's the lid that goes on that side. You can see it's got a very weird shape to it, but it is metal die cast, so it's going to work quite well for conducting the heat, which means I don't need to put the metal under it like I did on that side. I can mount the module straight onto here and just strip the paint off. So this is going to fit over here. That will then allow me to put the module on this side. So you can see it is the other way around compared to the other side, but that's how it was on the original Mercedes. So I'm going to keep it exactly the same, just to make it easy to service, and all these schematics and diagrams make sense as they did on the original Mercedes will still apply to my car. So I'm going to try and keep it this way around. You can see that this is further out compared to the other side, but that's just the way this box needs to be, because I've got the diagnostic port here where you plug in and read the fault codes off the car. Most of the wiring actually comes out of this side of the box and joins onto the engine, so it makes sense to have it that way. Now I can figure out how to bolt this module down onto this top plate. So I think that position is going to work really well. Now I can mark out these holes. So with that now drilled, I get the module bolted down on there. It's good as well because this has got this recess, so I've got somewhere to put bolts on this one, which means I can use some nicer bolts with some nuts that are going to sit on this underside. So this side should look a lot nicer. On the other side, I'm probably going to end up using some of these, but I do need to cut them down to custom lengths or get some nuts that are half thickness so that it all works. So let's put this side together. That's going to look a lot nicer. These will get replaced with Loctite nuts at a later stage, once I'm done with fabricating the car. So there we go, that's attached, nice and secure. I've left the paper underneath it for now, just so it doesn't make a mess of this whole plate. I'm going to have to remove some of the paint off this area at some other time. Now let's see how this looks fitted on the car. Okay, so this is going to go over here, just like this, and that's going to go down there. So now you can see that's looking really good. Now I've got both these modules in place, so that's another step closer to being able to start the engine up. These are one of the critical components that enable this thing to run. So I need to keep picking away at all these things, get all these ECUs in the cage, and keep mounting all these little modules around the engine. Then I can start looking at this wiring and actually wiring it all the way to all these modules. Once all that's done, we'll be at a stage where we're ready to do the first engine start up. I'm really keen to get that done this year, so I just need to keep doing all these small jobs around the car, and then we'll get into the bigger jobs of the monocoque and some of the other tasks that I need to do around this thing. Thank you for your support on my project. I'm working on bringing more videos and trying to keep the progress going on this thing. There's going to be a lot more coming up soon as we come into the summer months and get more daylight. So I'm trying to reduce the time between videos, but some of this stuff just takes a lot of time to do, especially when it's actual physical work, and also finding good times to actually record these videos where there's good sound and decent lighting is quite tricky. So thank you for your support. I'll see you on the next one.